Igbo kwen. Yeah. Cha 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 cha. Igbo kwezonu. Yeah. Oko nyamini nyamini. Koko nyamiri, nyamiri. Koko nyamiri, nyamiri. Koko nyamiri, nyamiri. Ibole, ibole. Ibobo ndamamihe. Ibole, ibole. Ibobo ndamamihe. Ebulanyelu, 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 ebulanyelu. Anamabara na ihe dị njọ ma na-emezi konye ofeke. Anamabara nụ n'ihe dị njọ ma na-emezi konye ofeke. Igbo bụ ndị ike, ụmụ Igbo bụ ndị ike. Ụmụ Igbo bụ ndị ike, ụmụ Igbo bụ ndị ike. Koko nyamini, nyamini. Ụlọ nsọ gị Chukwu ka ị na-abata, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Anya bịawa ịsọpụrụ gị ugbu a, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Chukwu nna n'ụlọ gị ka ị na-akpọ gị, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Otito na-adịrị gị mgbe niile, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ụmụ eliwayi kọta n'otu, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Ka anyị jikọfe ya ofufe Gọdian, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Gọdianism bụ ịhụnanya n'udo, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Butere anyị ụzọ kpetara anyị azụ, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru ike. Bịa o bịakwute ya, bịa o bịakwute ya, bịakwute ya bịa zuru.
Ndewono, ndewono. Ndewo is an Igbo word that means long life to you all. Welcome. Ahambu, Dibias, Demezo, come on, and I'm going to be your host. I'm going solo today because, okay, Dibia and Dibia Chido is here, are working on the university this morning. So they cannot at this point split their attention between this programming and the university that is going to start registration on November the 15th. So with that being said, welcome to another edition of ChiismLive. Again, I am Udemezwe Kama Onyoha, Dibia Yudi Onyoha, and I'm going to be your host today. So thank you so much for joining us. Our topic today is really heavy, and it's something that I'm sure for a lot of you out there, you ponder about, Is truth really worth it? What does it mean? But before we delve into today's topic, I think it's appropriate that we say a little bit of say a prayer today, so that we could get started on a good foot. Otite niile dịrị Chineke, ọbasi dị elu, Chukwu obiọma, Chidi ebere, Olisa nwa amara. Ka ụzọ anyị niile bụrụ ihe, ka ihe ọkpara kpatara aka, ka ọ bụrụkwa ahụ mma mma. Ka ụwa niile site n'ozi ọma anyị a, nwa obi aṅụrị, masa ife, site ugbu a ruo mgbe na-ebighị ebi, ọfọ ya gazie, ise, all praises to Chi, the creator, the supreme being, Chi the good, Chi the merciful, Chi the magnificent with grace. Let everywhere of our lives be light. Let all our acts be crowned with good. And may the world prosper through global faith ministries of Chiism and ChiismLive programming now and forever. So let it be. Amen. He said, now, let's delve into this topic. Today's topic is, why is it that truth is hidden under the cloak of lies when it pertains to people in leadership positions all over the world? Who should know better? Why is the common person, man or woman, expected to adhere to the principles of honesty and truth when the people who collect salaries from our tax dollars or nairas are not expected to demonstrate honesty and truthfulness, particularly in politics? Why is that? And this is pervasive all over the world. This is just not, I'm not picking on a particular country or particular set of leaders to talk about them not being truthful, not being honest. I mean, this is pervasive. It's been this way through human history, and we're going to try to the best of our ability to explore why. But before we go any further, in Igbo land, in Nigeria, we say that eziokwu bụ ndụ. Truth is life. Without truth, there is no life. Now, there are all kinds of truths. We have absolute truths. We have physical manifestations of the truth. For example, a human being has two hands. That is truth. It's physically manifested that you have two hands. You have two eyes. You have two ears. There's a tree in front of my house. That's truth. It's physically manifested. I have eyes. I can see. That's the truth. I have teeth. I have legs. Human beings reproduce. All animals reproduce naturally. Those are physical truths. It's unchangeable. It doesn't upset anybody. Physical truths don't upset anybody. Physical truths is accepted by the elite, by the poorest of the poor, by the middle class, by the politicians, by the so-called commoners. Those truths are accepted and not argued about. Then you have the other truth, perceived, doing the right thing, that are not physical. You cannot identify it just by looking at it. Truth about ideas, truth about points of view, truth about, listen to this, expectations. Beyond the physical truth, I think the truth about expectation is the most critical. For example, we need good leadership. That's about expectations. We need that. We expect good leadership. We expect uniformity in judgment. The truth has to be uniform for everyone. Some people don't have to get away with the truth and then other people punished. Those are the bottom rung of the ladder. The so-called commoners, the poor, those that bear the burden of lies. Those people that in politics you lie to. You tell them you're going to do something. They accept it as a truth about your character, that you're the kind of leader that they need. But it turns out that you're lying to them. So you're lying and you're disguising it as truth, and they accept it. Truth of perception. You accept the truth that I'm going to leave $5 on this table, and then I tell the person sitting in the room, don't touch that money. And they say, I will not touch it. As God is my witness, you could go on about your business. I'm not going to touch it. Then when you come back, the money is gone. And then you ask them. All of a sudden, truth grows wings and flies away. They took the money. You ask them for the truth. Did you take that money? And they lie to you and tell you, no, I didn't touch it. All of a sudden, truth goes out the back door. Now you're lying for your own good instead of telling the truth for your own good. Now it's a question of, what does your own good entail? Does it entail honesty? What is the definition of honesty? It is the quality of being honest. They spoke with convincing honesty about not taking the money. In politics, the common man, those people that are supposed to represent, tell the truth. They have the quality of honesty. They tell the truth about their fears, about their concerns, about their expectations. And then you say to them, as God is my witness, I'm telling you the truth. When you elect me, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And then when you get into office, you don't do those things. You have lied. You have disguised a lie as truth. They accepted truth in your character when your character has been a lie. You are dishonest. Same thing goes on with politics, in leadership, in private enterprises. You hire somebody to do a job, to fix your maybe some plumbing problem that you have, or maybe you hire somebody to get rid of pests, roaches, rats, or whatever it is you have in your house, and they come in there. You're expecting them to deal with you honestly, to be truthful to you, not to lie to you. So they come in there, have the solutions that they use to spray your house is mixed with water. But you come in there expecting honesty, truthfulness. But they come in disguising the truth as lies. And then the next day you come back, you still have the same problem. And then you call them back. And then they tell you, oh, well, this is that, that is this. You need to do this more. We need a little bit more money so that we could do this, do that. You pay them a little bit more. They come back in, they spray the place. Two things happen. Either they come by with more untruthfulness and lie to you that they now got rid of the problem that you have with the pest in your house, or they actually solve it. So they had lied to you the first time just to get in the door, to commit you to come up with some more money. So you came up with some more money because they had lied to you. They weren't truthful in the beginning. Now they've made more money from you by telling a lie, by not being truthful. Then in politics, what happens? You could just, I'm having a little problem with my laptop. It's about to go out, so I'm going to plug it in. So please bear with me. But what happens in politics? Instead of telling the truth and saying to yourself, let the chips fall where it may. I'm an honest broker. Truth goes a long way in securing the confidence of the people that I want to represent as their representative or as their leader, whether it's in business or whether it's in politics, whether it's micro in the family, mother, father, children. You have two options: be truthful or be dishonest. Here's the funny thing about it. Honesty, to be honest with you, will get you everything you want. Because if you secure somebody's confidence, if you secure the confidence of the people that you want to represent, your enemies will have a hard time competing with you because they're not honest. If they're honest, then the competition is on. But if they're not, they will have a hard time convincing the people that you want to represent not to go with your flow. It's almost next to impossible. And the only way to compete with you is to do the opposite. For every action, there's an equal opposite reaction. For every truth that is told, there's an equal lie that goes along with it to counteract the truth. You know, in African spirituality, there are several proverbs in Africa. And I'm going to run through a few of them just to get into your psyche and have you think a little bit. I'm going to give you 17 proverbs that deal with truth. First one is, truth is the first victim of war. I always say this to Dibias, Dr. Osemiri. I would say to her, in times of war, truth is the first casualty. I actually heard this stuff back in 1984 or 85 from Walter Cronkite, who was a journalist, and he was considered the most honest person in America. Something that is now a fleeting notion in media pretty much all over the world. Nobody tells the truth. They just care about exciting their audience. And when the eyeballs are fixed to the TV or to the articles, for them, it generates advertising dollar. So the money, the advertising dollar, is more important than the truth that you see on television or that you read in print. Truth is like fire. Truth is like fire. It cannot be hidden under dry leaves. Truth is like fire. It cannot be hidden under dry leaves. What does that mean? Fire scorches dry leaves. You can lie all you want to, but at some point, the truth will sear the lies. You can only lie for so long before the truth comes up. Truth cannot be hidden forever beneath evil. Oil always rises. If you have water, there's always oil. If you have water mixed with oil, the oil will rise to the top and cover the surface. And at some point, anything in that water will die because the oil will suffocate whatever living organism is in that water. Oil keeps oxygen from getting into that water. Same thing with the truth. Truth cannot be hidden beneath evil. Truth and the morning become light with time. It's almost like the proverb I just told you about before this one. Truth and the morning become light with time. The worst you can do to truth is to clothe it in lies. Because if you do, you cannot undo it. It creates distrust. Now nobody believes anything you say. If you're going to tell the truth, just tell the truth. Don't mix it up with lies, because if you do, you cannot undo it, and your credibility, especially to these politicians, goes into the toilet. The word you say to tell the truth are as important as the decisions to be truthful. Let me say that again. The words you say to tell the truth are as important as the decision to be truthful. There's a movie called A Few Good Men, and Jack Nicholson, when being questioned by Tom Cruise, on the stand, said to Tom Cruise, as he was probing him to tell the truth, he told him, "You can't handle the truth. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die." It's about the same thing. Tell me the truth, tell me the truth. Can you handle it? Can you really handle the truth? When we talk about the truth about the condition of the African, and we talk about the reason why we're in the position that we're in today. I'm not talking about slavery and colonization. We know that. We know what happened to Africa. I'm talking about today, the desecration of our culture, of our way of life, the hate in our communities, the disunity in African communities, both in the motherland and in diaspora, where the Jamaican now thinks he's better than the Haitian, where the Haitian thinks he's better than the Jamaican thinks he's better than the African American thinks he's better than the African in the motherland, the African in the motherland thinks he's better than the African in Europe, so on and so forth, all over the world, both in the motherland and diaspora African community. If we tell the truth about how foreign religion has destroyed our psyche, have made us become beggars in the world today. If we tell the truth about why Africans are leaving Africa, walking across the Sahara Desert in the heat, making it to Europe and drowning in the Mediterranean, if we tell you the truth about why, would you believe it? You want people to be honest with you, but can you be honest with yourself and say, hey, you know, I'm really afraid of the truth. Why is it that we gravitate towards lies? Is it because it makes us feel good? Is it because somebody is telling us what we want to hear? Is what we want to hear really the truth? If your hair looks all kinds of ways, for example, I mean, this works for men and women, but I'm going to use women as an example. You ask your husband, how do I look? You're out of shape, totally out of shape. Your hair is all kinds of ways. Your teeth is crooked. Your eyes are slanted this way. You wear makeup so thick that you look like a freak. Your face looks like a mask. And your husband say, well, you know, baby, you could lose a little weight. Then you get all upset because he told you the truth. Not just because you could lose a little weight, but it's bad for your health. Maybe, honey, how do I look? You look all right, but you know, you might need to go to the dentist though. Your teeth are a little crooked. Now you get upset. You want the truth. How do I look, honey? You look all right, but your eyes kind of slanted a little bit. You get upset. How do you like my dress? I don't like it. Now you're upset. He told you the truth because you look terrible in that dress or that suit. Now you're upset. You wanted to tell you something that you wanted to hear to make you feel good about yourself, even though you look like crap. Your dressing is terrible. You're not presentable. And he or she tries to hold the truth so that you don't get upset. But you're telling your partner, your politician, your business partner, your family member, you're telling them to tell you the truth. So when they tell you the truth, now you're upset because the truth doesn't make you feel good. And then we go back to people getting away from the truth because of their status. We're going to deal with that in a minute. But let me continue with some of these proverbs so that we can understand the implications of telling the truth and not telling the truth. Like I mentioned, the words you say to tell the truth are as important as the decisions to be truthful. Tell the truth, but watch how you tell it, because people may construe it as a personal attack on their person. So watch your mouth and how you say the truth. If somebody's stupid, you just can't come out and say, you know what, you're stupid. You told the truth, but now you've gained an enemy. Instead of saying you're stupid, you could say, hey, I understand what you're saying. However, the truth of the matter is, blah, 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 blah. You've told the truth. You've made them go, okay, I see where you're coming from. You've told the truth, but you said it in a way that is diplomatic and not upsetting to them, because people are not as thick-skinned as you may think they are. It takes just a little bit to set people off. The truth is always better than the best dressed lie. This really boils down to one thing. Just tell the truth and deal with the consequences. It doesn't matter. Truth is on your side. They may hate you, but they're going to respect your integrity. You may not be what they want to hear, but they will respect you as a person. They may not like you, but they will not hesitate to deal with you when it comes to business or anything that has to do with life, politics, what have you, because they know that you'll be honest, even though they feel like your honesty is not making them money. You know, some people make money with lies, like a bunch of politicians that lie to you. No matter which country you come from, they lie. You have honest leadership, and what I consider honest leadership are those leaders that at least try to do for the people that they oversee. As long as you're doing, and people can see, maybe you're creating infrastructure, good schools, all that stuff, water, electricity, what have you, good roads. As long as you're doing those things, they will excuse your dishonesty in other things. As long as you're doing something that affects their everyday living, that makes life comfortable for them, trust me, they will not even think about any other lie you may have told, because nobody's perfect. We know that anyway. What kind of lie are you telling? Lying is totally unacceptable, but people do it. They do it. The greatest truth is the simplest one. Just tell the truth. Don't try to, create this narrative about you telling the truth and make it a complex endeavor. Just be simple. You're short. That's the truth. You're not tall. You get mad all you want to, but you are short. I'm being honest with you. It's the truth. Don't get mad at me. Take it up with the Creator. You're short. That's it. Tell the truth. The simplest one. Just tell it. I need to tell you something, honey. I'm seeing somebody else. Now, don't expect to tell your partner that you're seeing somebody else and expect them to accept that. If they accept it, it is what it is. If they don't, deal with the consequences of stepping out of your relationship. But don't lie about it and hide it and start living a totally different, stressful life and lying. Because now when they find out, then you find out that your lie is worse than you being honest, truthful in the first place. Tell your friend a lie if he keeps it a secret, then tell him the truth. Let me say that again. This is really intricate here. Tell your friend a lie. If he keeps that lie a secret, then tell him the truth, because he'll keep the secret too. Sometimes a lie is kinder than the truth, and that's a true statement. Some people tell lies to spare feelings. Some people tell lies to save their life. If I have to tell a lie to save a member of my family who is innocent, is there anybody out there who would tell the truth and impugn somebody who is not innocent? If thieves bust into my house right now with a gun to the head of my family member and ask me, where's the money? What do you think I'm going to say? If you have a family member being raped or something, and telling a lie will save them from that, what are you going to do? That's a tough one. But I'm just saying there are exceptions to everything. Again, you can't handle the truth if it's being told. That's why a whole lot of times we accept the lie. We give permission to people in leadership to lie to us. Hold on a second. My screen just went black on me, but I'm back. But we accept politicians lying to us. Okay, I'm back now. My computer just switched off on me for a second. I apologize for the, what just happened right now, but the technical issue. So forgive me. Let's get on with it. Now, he who is wise endeavors to learn how to understand the truth, not less than that. It may take a lot of time to fabricate a lie, but the truth only takes seconds to elevate. Buy the truth, but never sell a lie. A lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is still putting on shoes. A lie has many variations. The truth has one. You could tell a lie in so many ways, but you can't tell the truth in so many ways. Truth has only one variation to it. And that's the truth. Whoever tells the truth is chased out of 9 villages. He who tells the truth walks alone. He who tells the truth walks alone. That is heavy. The truth can hurt, but it's necessary for you to move on. He who tells the truth walks alone. Politicians know that, and that's why they lie. And people accept the lie because they cannot live with the truth. They can't handle it. But why is it that it's okay for those who we consider our leaders, particularly, and I have to be specific this time, particularly in African countries, particularly in countries where the primordial spiritual philosophy is not paramount. Example, Nigeria. I mean, this happens all over the colonized nations in the world, but I'm just going to use Nigeria as a sample. Why is it that those charged with leadership in Nigeria lie so much and people just accept it? And then when somebody at the bottom of the rung lies, it's a problem. Instant justice. The rich can buy their way out of a lie. And the poor masses struggling for cassava, struggling for a spoon of rice, struggling for a cup of milk, will accept that dirty money and keep their mouth quiet while the elite is sucking the blood out of them. That's what's going on in Nigeria right now, where lies rule, truth becomes victim. The politician understands that lying is what is needed to stay in power, because we, as a people, have accepted mediocrity. We have resocialized our minds to believe that what is important is how much money you got in your pocket, and how you get that money means nothing. The truth of the man in the street who is caught stealing cassava or a bag of rice to feed himself or feed his children. The truth is there are no opportunities, but we don't see that. We just see the fact that he took the bag of rice. And meanwhile, our politicians are raping us, taking our resources, stuffing their pockets, buying private planes, sending their children abroad to the best medical schools, going abroad for medical treatment, while the commoner, the common man, the middle class, supposedly, that used to exist in Nigeria, can't get good medical care. everything that you need to live a sustainable life is denied to 80% of the population, while the ruling class, the elites, the politicians suck the lifeblood out of them, suck every hope that our youth in Nigeria have for a better future, deprive us of infrastructure, good schools, good roads, good drinking water, communication, everything that you need to have a sustainable existence without much fanfare in terms of the stress that you face. It's taken from you. But you are willing to drag that man in the street whose truth is the fact that he's hungry. But you don't care about that. You just care about the fact that he went and got a bag of rice. But those politicians that are looting and raping you, you do nothing to them. I don't see you going into a government building and getting one of those politicians and giving them a piece of your mind. I don't see you doing that. You may be making an attempt to do it today, but for the most part, you've never done that. You've always been interested in how much money somebody has. That's your truth. But you don't care about the truth about how they got that money, even though the truth is staring at you in the face. You don't really care about that. And when it comes to the law, the application of the law evenly, where in a democracy you believe that nobody is above the law, in American type democracy or the parliamentary system that is run in Britain. If that is your criteria, then we failed miserably, because in Nigeria, the elite, anybody with money in their pocket, is above the law, and the law caters to them. The police cater to them. The judicial system caters to them. So in the practice of law and accountability, truth has no place in it, because it is controlled by money. But the poor guy who doesn't have any money goes to court and ends up in jail, even though he has truth on his side, but the judge has been paid off. The police that arrested him has been paid off. So the guy being affected by the infusion of money in truths in Nigeria has nowhere to go but downhill. If the law that is supposedly based on telling the truth is compromised, then as an ordinary citizen in Nigeria or in Africa or anywhere in the world, if that is the case, I feel terrible for you, for me, and for everybody else. So if you want to understand why the truth is applied only to the elite, the politicians, it is money. The money in Nigeria controls the judicial system. Truth has no place in Nigerian law. Honesty has no place in Nigerian law. What has any place in Nigerian law is your ability to bribe your way through all classes of law, from law enforcement, from the police, to the judiciary, to the judges, the appellate judges, the state judges, the federal judges, the Supreme Court of Nigeria. Money is king. Money buys honesty. Money owns truth in Nigeria. They lie to you in church. They tell you that your problem is not the politicians raping and taking your money and denying you all the resources that you're entitled to as a responsible citizen who pays taxes. They tell you that all you have to do is put some money in the coffers of the church and your way to heaven will be paid for you only when you die. But what happens when you're alive? Tell me, what? Truth has no place as long as those people that control the resources and your psychology, your psyche, are in power. Your local pastor is in power, is in control of your life. They narrate to you what they want you to hear, what makes you feel good, what they feel makes you forget about your condition in the world today, promise you heaven, gold, honey, when you are passed on, when you are dead. But while you are alive in this world, don't worry about it. It's going to be difficult for a rich man, according to the Bible, to go through the eye of a needle than go to heaven. And yet the Bible you read, particularly the King James Version, is controlled by the most powerful and the richest publishing house in the world. How difficult is it going to be for those people that sell you your Bible or your Quran to go to heaven? The King James Version, it was developed by the monarchy of Britain, started with King Henry VIII, when the Vatican refused to grant him divorce from his wife. The Church of England began, and they started to develop the King James Version and ended up putting that out. What happens to the royalty that gave you the King James Version? Is it going to be difficult for them to go through the eye of a needle? Donald Trump is a billionaire. Will it be difficult for him to get through the eye of a needle for those people in the United States, the Southern Conservative Baptists and all that shenanigans? I know the Lord, all that nonsense. How difficult is it going to be for the Pope? The Vatican is one of the richest bodies in the world. They govern themselves. They pay no taxes to no one. Better collect your money, 2 billion followers all over the world, into their coffers. How difficult is it going to be for them to pass through the eye of a needle compared to the peasant who can barely afford a grain to feed his family? Meanwhile, you're being discouraged not to have control of your own destiny, not to aspire to be great, not to aspire to be rich, to have no worldly concerns, but concern yourself with what happens to you when you go to heaven. How come they don't concern themselves with that? How come they're controlling all the riches in the world today, some of them belonging to you? But you're too busy sitting over here hoping that if you give up everything you got, some women who are married give everything to the preacher and abandon their husbands. Preacher, in Nigeria, they call them my daddy. Daddy. Suddenly your preacher now is your daddy. They have lied to you. Truth has never been important to those people that control the resources that belong to you as a responsible citizen. And they control the idea that you dare question them with the police and the military and force imperial patronage to enforce selective justice, whatever they call justice. You have people in jail languishing for doing nothing because somebody with money bribed somebody in law enforcement to go and arrest you, to get you out of the way while they take over your property and your resources and your household and things that belong to you. You know, OKDB always says that whatever is going on in your life that you allow people to do to you, they're doing it to you because you're allowing it. The lies that politicians tell, the lies that people in the position of responsibility for the community, for the society, in law enforcement and what have you, in politics, even in business, they get away with things because you allow it. A king without any subject is not a king at all. Even businesses that lie to you and jack up prices and put you in this roller coaster of spending, even when you don't have the resources, when your income is not keeping up with the inflation. If those products are not a necessity, but have convinced you that you need it to have a good life, you could change what's happening to you by just having a concerted effort by the community to say enough is enough. And sometimes those people implode and destroy themselves. Look at what is going on in the United States Congress now. They're imploding over there. I'm not going to mention any names, but they're imploding. Things are not the way they seem. Those people that convince you that you have to have a certain point of view, that the sky is falling on your head, Chicken Little. They're coming to take your job, and they're coming to take your women and your wives and your children. They're eating them alive. Go and buy guns. You need guns to protect yourself. The Martians are coming. They're imploding now. Same thing in Nigeria. A Nigerian president once said that if you want power, you have to take it. A president said, if you want power, you have to take it. This is a narrative that belongs in the 10th century. This is how people thought 1,000 years ago, maybe 500 years ago, or whatever. Not in Africa, because in Africa, in African primordial spiritual culture, which directly affects African politics, that was never the case. We practice what is called communalism. The people owned the power, the age grade system of government. And what was so special about the age group system of government, or peerism, communalism, is that no age grade wanted to be shamed, wanted to be looked upon as dishonest. Every age group wanted to be looked upon as truthful. So if one member of that group does anything that impugns the credibility of that age grade, that person is punished. You are punished severely and might be excommunicated from the group. It was understood. It was totally understood that truthfulness, honesty, dealing with the community and your age group was paramount. It was an imperative from the littlest guy to the Eze of the community. Now, not all cultures are the same. The Vikings just went in slaughtering and taking over. Genghis Khan slaughtered his way from Mongolia all the way to Gaul. He wanted power and resources. He just went in there and took it. And this president made a speech, and it's on YouTube, it's on the internet, that if you want power, you have to take it. It doesn't matter if somebody else gets the vote. Lying, not being truthful, shenanigans, dishonesty is an imperative for power in Nigeria. You are considered a loser if you tell the truth. You are considered a loser if you want to be truthful to the population, to the citizens. You are considered weak if you're honest. Honesty, being truthful, is now weakness in African politics, particularly in Nigeria. There is no place for being truthful. There is no place in Nigeria for dealing with the citizens honestly. Because as far as the leaders are concerned, honesty does not put money in your coffers. That is what the politicians feel. That is what they think. That's what the clergy thinks in Nigeria. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have grandiose plans for your family. You don't have to strive to have resources that are generational. It's not just to be rich for yourself while you're in this world, and then when you die, everything goes away. The dream is to have resources that is generational. from one generation to another, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, so on and so forth, the generations after you will no longer ever have to work hard to make a living. If you go to Europe, there are people that own castles, land that have passed through the family for 1,000 years or more, and they still own it. That's how names are made. But in Nigeria, the clergy tells you, don't worry about that. Just give us money so that we could build larger churches. So we could spread the word of God in a bigger building. So I could fly all over the world in a chariot of white, a fleet of private jets. So I could come to church in a white Rolls Royce. And then when I step out, then I have a carriage of white horses that will take me to the entrance of the church, where congregants are not going to put me on a gold chair and walk me through the aisles to the pulpit, where I now spew my lies. And we've accepted it because it makes us forget about our current ridiculously negative and impoverished conditions. Truth now becomes a casualty of war because the elite, the clergy, the politicians are now waging war on the mass population. Truth has become a casualty of war. Truth has been corrupted with money. If you're living in a third world country, so-called third world, whatever that definition means, I know what it means in my own mind. A third world country is not India. Any country that holds on to its cultural dictates, its traditions, its primordial spirituality is not third world. I don't care how poor they are. They have uncommon deep thought. They understand that the only defense against imperialism is one's primordial spiritual culture. Once you hold on to that, like the Indians have done, like the Japanese in Shinto, Chinese people today, you know, they have Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, but in Chinese society today, the way it's structured, those things play no role. China is one religion, one country I can tell you that there's a separation of church and state. That is the only country that I know. Maybe Japan to a certain extent, except for its Shinto relationship, the way they see the world. It's not based on God. Religion and politics are strange bedfellows. British parliamentary systems have 30-something clergy as permanent members of its House of, I think it's House of Lords. Where's the separation of church and state in that, in the parliamentary system of government spearheaded by Great Britain? In the United States, before the president gives the speech, whenever Congress opens up its session, the clergy, some preacher or whoever, says a prayer first. Where's the separation of church and state in that? Not only that, it has to be a Christian. It's not a Muslim or a Buddhist that opens up the prayer every day. They don't give audience or the same opportunity for maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 different spiritual philosophies or spirituality or religions to say the opening prayer before the session of Congress or when the president is giving a speech. When you place your hand on the Bible and you swear, I, Barack Obama, I, George W. Bush, I, Abraham Lincoln, swear to what, blah, 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 blah. So help me God. Where's the separation of church and state in that? So there is no separation of church and state. They are bedfellows. They're in league with one another. Same thing in Europe. In the Middle Ages, in the Dark Ages, blah, 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 all over the world. Religion has always influenced politics. That is the biggest lie that has ever been told in politics, that there's a separation of church and state. It doesn't exist. It's never existed. And it's not about to start existing now just because I said it on this program. So they're going to mend their ways and change it. It's not going to change. The common man, the common person, the person who is struggling every day to feed his family is at war with the politicians, the elite, and the clergy. And because of that, truth is the first casualty, because truth and justice has now been taken over by money all over the world, in American politics, in Nigerian politics. That's why a president will tell you that if you want power, you take it. How do you take that power? He didn't march a bunch of people in the street to start busting heads. He didn't marshal out a National Guard or an army to start killing people. He put money in the judiciary. He put money in the military. Stolen money. Your money. He gave it to the IG of the police. All dishonest brokers. Everybody taxed with upholding the law in Nigeria is dishonest. They go with the flow, where the money is. Whoever comes in there to impugn the truth, those are the people that they follow to step on the regular citizen who wakes up every morning wondering what they're going to eat, wondering how their children will be able to go to school, wondering, what do you call it, how they can live their daily lives, good schools, or wondering about their health. You're sick, you can't go to the hospital. But those people that control the truth with money all have access to good medical care. So like Dibias said, wherever your butt finds itself, your mind put it there. So you can sit over here and cry about the politicians being dishonest. You can cry about it all you want to. But the truth is that it's your fault, because you cannot hold the people at gunpoint that do not want to be held. You let them get away with it, they'll get away with it. You walk around here thinking that it's going to be difficult for a rich man to pass through the eye of a needle. I mean, it would be easier for a rich man to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get to heaven. You're foolish. You're stupid. The truth is a victim because you let it. Insist upon truthfulness, its uniform application across the board. Hit the streets, shut the country down, take your country back, particularly in Africa, in Burkina Faso, in Nigeria, in Niger, in Guinea. Take your country back. You cannot oppress 1.4 billion Africans. I don't care how great and strong your military is. You can't do it. If the people rise up, ask a lot of dead bodies for you to kill. They will get what they want. The awakening happened in Egypt. Mubarak was ousted within 7 days. It is doable. This fast called, what do you call it? African Organization of African Unity, or whatever they call you, AU or whatever. That's a farce. They go in there to discuss how they stay in power and screw you and deny you of things that you're entitled to as responsible citizens. Only you can stop a forest fire. Only you can stop politicians from applying the truth or telling the truth. Only you can make can change the society and have people be a little bit more accountable for their actions. and quit relying on the law to help establish the truth when the truth has been corrupted with money. So if you ever wonder why things are the way they are, it is because we, as responsible citizens, are letting it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a solo journey through this program. I am glad that you were with us today, and I know that you miss Dibia and Dibia Chido's here, but like I have mentioned earlier, they are very busy with the university, which is going to be opening on the 15th of November. And we're going to put out more public information, regarding the registration process for Chiist University. You can also check us out, Global Faith Ministry of Chiism, at www.chiism.org. We also have a Facebook presence, ChiismLive on Facebook, and also check out AfricanCalendar.org. Thank you so much for being with us today, and until next time, Yagazie to all of you.